Very often they grow in like clusters and clumps.
So there's a nice clump right there.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you can see it takes several pickings. These were done earlier. Now these two are ripe.
Okay.
And we'll come back, maybe in 3 days, 4 days to see if those are ripe. Those that are real ripe, they'll slip right off.
Okay.
If you have to give them a tug, then you know they're not ripe.
You leave them be for a little longer.
For the next day or 2 days later.
Okay.
Yeah. Step number 2 in making jelly. In jelly, they're only the juices used, not the pulp of the berries. That way no seeds or anything will get into people's teeth or under their plates. So we used to cook the berries, put them in a cheesecloth, let the juice drain out. But we have been given one of these wonderful Victoria juice makers. It has 3 parts. The bottom, we put the water in. Then second set is where the juice is collected. It's like an upside down angel food cake pan. And the top part is like a sieve, and that's where we put the berries in that we picked from the woods. And the burner is turned on to about medium high, and that heats the water. The water in here goes up through that little hole, that funnel-like, and the steam then goes up to the top where the berries are and forces the juice out, and it's collected in the middle section of this juicer. Step number 3. After the berries have been in this juicer for a while, the juice is all collected in the middle section. We take the top section off, and then we press this hose, the clamp on the hose, tip the pan a little to get it started, and out comes the beautiful black raspberry juice. Then we put this into the freezer until we have time to make the jam, or jelly, I should say. This is the next step in the making of the black raspberry jam. We have already picked the berries, juiced the berries, showed you how you got the juice out. We put the juice in containers, had them in the freezer, and now it's time to make the jelly. We're going to measure out 4.5 cups of juice. That's 4 cups and a half. A little bit for extra measure. That's 4.5 cups.
Okay.
Then to that we add 1 teaspoon of butter. That'll help it not to foam afterwards when we make the jelly. And to thicken this, or to make it set like jelly, what you can either do is buy Sure-Jell, which we get in any grocery store. And what we prefer to do is go to the Amish and buy pectin. And pectin you can get in pound bags like this for like $7.89. Whereas 1 package, and this is equivalent to about 9 Sure-Jells. Each Sure-Jell costs around $5. So economically, we buy the pectin, and it says to use 1 package of pectin. We measured out a package of pectin, and it's 1/3 cup plus a tablespoon. So we add that. Then we're ready to put this onto the heat. And I started off on high, and it's says to stir, so that's to get the pectin and the butter melted. And we just wait until this gets to a boiling stage. Then we boil it for 1 minute at a full rolling boil, which means that it boils and you can't stop the boiling by stirring. And after that, then we put in the sugar. Now we have a rolling boil. You can see no matter how hard I stir it or fast I stir it, it does not go away the boil. And now it's been boiling in a minute, and we are going to add the sugar. It's 6.5 cups of sugar. And you can add it gradually, and the heat will dissolve the sugar as it goes in. There. And then you can see it's not boiling very hard anymore. And now you watch it, and you wait for this to come to a rolling boil for 1 minute, and then we're ready to jar it. So once you've got it this far, it doesn't take long anymore. Okay. We have the jelly at a rolling boil now for 1 minute. To put in hot water in the microwave, what I do is put the lids in this hot water, and what that will do is melt the rubber or soften the rubber so that when we cap the jars, it will adhere better. Off the stove, get my hot water, in which I'm going to put the jar lids. Here we go. And we have this very handy scooper that a friend of ours gave. It's like a ladle, and it pours out from 3 ways. So, and if we look at this, there's not much foam or on here, so I think we don't have to scrape anything off. Some fruits have a lot of foam, it sticks up. And we do it so it's like 1/4 inch from the top. And I don't think I spilled anything on, but learning this, how to can when I was little, my mother always had us wipe the rim so that no food particle will be up there. Then we put a lid on, a ring, and the jar is very hot, so take a hot pad, hold it, screw it as tight as I can, and then we put them upside down on a rack to cool. We leave it upside down for about 20 minutes so that we make sure that the seal is tight, and then we flip it over and let it cool off the rest of the way. And the next step is labeling them. What we will do, as you can see here, we did with the gooseberry jam, we'll say Eco-Justice Center, it'll say black raspberry jam, jelly, and then the ingredients. Things that can help in making jams and jellies. You can pick up flyers or little cookbooks about that, making it, or you can go to the good old Betty Crocker cookbook, and there's a whole section on jams and jellies. Or if you don't want to invest in all of that, the SureGel package has all the directions you really need. And then the modern person will just go to the iPhone and look up recipes. If you would like to try this process at home, you'd have to go pick your black raspberries or any of the other fruits that you can make jelly or jam out of. Otherwise, you can come to the Eco-Justice Center and buy a jar of homemade jelly. So come in and enjoy the jelly without doing all the work.